Deep within the hidden corners of the British monarchy, buried beneath layers of history, a secret document has emerged, threatening to shake the foundations of the modern royal family. Discover what could make Prince William question everything and challenge Camilla, driving a wedge through the very heart of British royalty. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. In a room filled with ancient whispers, the world of the Royal Archives unveils its latest revelation. The document is a relic of secrecy, its parchment yellowed with age, guarded against the sands of time by those who fear the truths it holds. A relic once locked away, it finds itself thrust into the harsh light of the present, each curve of ink spelling out a reality that threatens to unearth long-buried truths within Buckingham Palace itself. For centuries, the labyrinthine corridors of the palace have been the custodians of tales best left untold. Yet this discovery stands alone, a solitary piece among 1,000 tales, shrouded in a mystery that demands revelation. Tension within the palace thickens as whispers ripple through its halls, voices low and laden with caution, each questioning what this cryptic edition means for the reigning dynasty. Fear flickers like a flame in the eyes of those holding their breath for the impending storm. For some, it's as if they can hear the very walls of the palace breathe with secrets yearning to escape. This revelation echoes through the halls, turning intrigue into a living, breathing entity, as members of the household brace themselves. Hints of past royal scandals, those tales of forbidden love and deceit that once rose to prominence like forbidden specters, now awaken doubts anew. Those who have walked these hallowed corridors are no strangers to such upheavals, yet the document's sudden emergence keeps them at the edge of their seats, anxious to connect the fragmented pieces of history to this newfound puzzle. As it joins the ranks of the collected tales, dust-laden books serve as silent witnesses, their spines bent with the weight of untold stories. Dimly lit corridors become the theater of hushed discussions, where every corner could be harboring the next hint. The air is thick with questions, the most pressing being, what could be so significant, so monumental, that it warrants confrontation from Prince William himself? The document seems to possess a heart, its silent beat reverberating with chilling possibility, each pulse urging a reckoning that could ripple through time and transform the face of the royal lineage. These revelations carry the ominous potential to echo not only in the private corners of the kingdom, but to the world that watches with bated breath, anticipating the moment when the layers of secrecy will unravel. As curiosity spreads like wildfire throughout the palace walls, the significance of this document starts to unravel, setting the stage for an encounter no one anticipated. The whispers transform into an urgent drumbeat, drawing us closer as the heart of the royal family braces for what lies ahead in this unfolding tapestry of anticipation and uncertainty. Royals are known for their composure, but behind closed doors, emotions simmer. Witness the moment when Prince William, driven by revelations, decides to confront Camilla in a move that could change the dynamics of the monarchy forever. Whispers echo through the corridors of Buckingham Palace as a thick, palpable tension coils around its very foundations. It all began as a seemingly mundane day in the life of Prince William, until a chance discovery turned tranquility into a cascading torrent of betrayal. In the dim lighting of the palace library, hidden among sheaves of confidential letters, was the revelation that would ignite the royal rift. A tapestry of secrets unfolded before William's eyes, each thread more disturbing than the last. His heart pounded with a mixture of disbelief and anger, the shadows sharpening his resolve to confront the intruder in their ranks. Camilla, whose contentious past had always tread the line of acceptability within the royal domain. Camilla, the queen consort who had once been on the periphery, now stood precariously at the heart of the royal arena, balancing on a sheer cliff of past controversies. Her journey from outcast to a key figure in the royal hierarchy was marked by whispers of discontent and contentious alliances. Yet those who underestimated her often discovered her mastery of the delicate dance of court intrigue. Nevertheless, deep fissures, long concealed by a facade of public unity, were now threatening to tear apart the very fabric of royal decorum in the wake of William's unsettling find. The stage was set for a confrontation destined to reverberate through the annals of history. Prince William, embodying the principles of a modern monarchy, prepared to face Camilla, the embodiment of unresolved history and complex ties. Beneath the polite constructs of royal etiquette simmered emotions as sharp and potent as a double-edged sword. It was a tension-building standoff between tradition and transformation. Their gazes locked, holding a dialogue of unspoken words, each carefully maneuvering within an intricate web of familial duty and personal conviction. As the echoes of his ancestors' decisions coursed through his veins, William knew that this confrontation was not merely a personal vendetta, it was about the future direction of the monarchy itself. Amidst this collision of wills stood Prince Charles, a solitary figure cast as the anchor of unwavering stability amid swirling chaos. The potential unraveling of bonds deeply entwined with his own threatened to unroot the delicate balance he dedicated his life to crafting. Charles, who had championed unity from the shadows, now witnessed the unraveling of alliances that had once seemed unbreakable. The strain was nearly visible on his brow, his befitting patience tested as the custodial weight of the kingdom rested heavily on his shoulders. From beyond the gilded walls, royal aides and seasoned experts speculated over the simmering drama. Discreet meetings conducted in hushed tones over fine china mapped the potential fallout within the palace's fault lines. Would the monarchy endure this familial power struggle, or would the veil of authority itself be rent asunder in the impending showdown? Each aide offered their insight, their projections varying from cautious optimism to foreboding predictions of upheaval, as they wove their narratives into the historical fabric of institutional legacies at stake. The kingdom watched, holding its collective breath, as faint glances and understated whispers testified to the electric tension charging the atmosphere. To the perceptive observer, even the smallest gesture, a slight nod, an understated smile spoke volumes in the language of monarchy, signifying allegiances and opposition with the subtlety of 1,000 words. In this rarefied world where even shadows held secrets, the idea of change hung heavily like storm clouds, poised to release a torrential downpour. With the document casting long, dark shadows over Buckingham Palace, the ensuing confrontation marks only the beginning of an extraordinary unfolding drama. Hidden for decades, protected by a royal code of silence, the contents of the elusive document are about to be exposed. Could its pages rewrite history, or will they merely reflect long-held suspicions about the monarchy's darkest secrets? With trembling hands and hearts beating in unison, the assembled historians, codebreakers, and regal experts gather around the ancient parchment. Aged with time yet brimming with suspense, the document's mere existence has whispered tales of intrigue. Underneath its ornate seals lurks the power to topple pillars of the majestic lineage, or so the rumors say. The moment the seals break, a collective breath is drawn, mirroring the gravity of a revelation poised on the tip of tongues left unspoken for too long. Within its pages lies a narrative both astonishing and complex. The document unfurls an account linking the royal family's clandestine dealings to a pivotal historical event, never before scrutinized under such a glaring lens of truth. Whispers of a treaty, concealed alliances, and shadows of betrayal paint a vivid tapestry once shielded from the probing eyes of time. It tells a tale of secret liaisons and promises made in hushed corridors, a reality starkly different from the gilded fade presented to a fiercely believing populace. This clandestine chapter threatens to redefine the legacy of those who assumed power in times of strife and victory alike, laying bare the leaders' decisions that could have steered an empire in unforeseen directions. Expert codebreakers, scholarly historians commandeer the opportunity to weave their interpretations into the very fabric of what was once deemed infallible. Their testimonies carry the weight of lives spent in pursuit of truth, deciphering cryptic codes and untangling webs of deception. They speak with awe of the document's sophisticated encryption, a sorcery of symbols and clandestine numbers meant to secure a narrative from prying eyes. These accounts breathe life into the shadows of the past, letting the document become a living entity, beckoning us to delve deeper into its mysteries. For key members of the royal family, the revelations hold the prospects of both ruin and redemption, dancing precariously on the edge of generational honor. From the sophisticated fortresses of Buckingham Palace to the quiet echoes in lesser-known estates, this discovery begins to ripple a tidal wave of uncertainty, threatening to engulf all who linger too close to secrets unveiled. Personal stakes rise high, the reputations and futures of individuals and entire dynasties hang in agonizing balance between the past's jeopardized judgments and necessary justifications. Dynamic analyses of the document feel almost palpable in their intensity, inviting scrutiny with distinct close-ups on ink-stained revelations. Each passage navigated by eager eyes carries the weight of history as though whoever reads them, in turn, becomes a custodian of its secrets. Here, the lines between royalty and commonality blur a universal truth that resists the passing of time and the crumbling of empires. It becomes clear that the simple act of unveiling this document was never isolated. Its shadows stretch far beyond the pages themselves, creeping into every dialogue, every public perception now irrevocably altered. The implications of such profound revelations kept sheltered from the light of inquiry for so long send shockwaves through both historic and present realms. Suspicion takes root in the questioning minds of an audience once comfortably passive. How could such monumental truths have lingered unobserved, hidden in plain sight? What twisted method of denial and secrecy permitted such avoidance of rightful scrutiny, and to what end? In contemplating these questions, one finds themselves in a maze of morality, legacy, and inevitable reckoning. As the document's truths illuminate age-old shadows, a new narrative begins to unfold, one that neither Prince William nor Camilla could have fully anticipated. The pages, once shrouded in time's veil, now beckon us to ponder the meaning and price of truth. A chapter closes, yet its echoes reverberate across the ages, and the royal family must dance a death dance with destiny's unyielding pen. Once ridiculed, now a queen consort facing perhaps her greatest challenge, Camilla must navigate the turbulent waters stirred by the document's revelations. In this high-stakes game of legitimacy and lineage, she's defending more than her honor. Camilla's ascent within the turbulent corridors of royalty was never smooth. Her entry into the royal family was marred by whispers and sideways glances, yet she weathered storms more punishing than prying eyes. Those early struggles, tales of endurance shaped by the relentless press and public conflagrations, forged in her a resolve as unyielding as steel. Her journey from an outcast to a figure now standing crowned beside the monarch himself was one lined with trials that tested her every nerve and fiber. But beneath her composed exterior, a darker battle raged, a battle of deep-seated fears and insecurities that each public trial seemed to engrave deeper into her soul. The recent unearthing of a document, darker than shadow yet potent with truth, threatened to unravel her tightly wound world. It was a manifestation of every ghost of insecurity haunting her path. It was as though each scribble within its pages whispered a taunt, challenging her claim to the crown and to Charles. In the solitude of the palace's ornate chambers and away from prying eyes, Camilla faced her storm alone. In that cavernous quiet, a profound moment of introspection cast her gaze inward. She wrestled with her doubts and fears, surfacing dark memories and the weight of expectation. Yet beneath her fragile veneer lay an unwavering resolve fortified by years of scrutiny and scandal. Her duty, her love, and her position demanded an unyielding front, and she would deliver nothing less. Communication with Charles had always been her salve and sword, yet the current turmoil threatened even this refuge. As the document's implications grew heavier upon them, each exchange demanded delicacy and courage. Their whispered conversations became a mix of tender reassurances and tangible tension, highlighting a partnership facing the immense pressure of legacy and continuity. Each word shared with Charles was laden with the unspoken question of what comes next, the twin of their shared dilemma hovering like a specter between them. Around her, echoes of voices rose in support. Those who had stood by her during past controversies, steadfast allies and loyal confidants, offered solace and strategy. Their presence was a bittersweet reminder of past battles, the comradeship forged in shared adversity, an oasis amidst the current pandemonium. These allies, familiar with the eddies of scandal and survival, formed a protective circle around her, knowing all too well that in these royal games, even the air one breathes could turn traitor. Yet even with support girding her, Camilla couldn't ignore the looming threat the document posed to her newfound security. Every word within the incriminating parchment was a sword hanging over her head, each sentence threatening to sever the vine of legitimacy she had painstakingly nurtured. As Camilla grapples with her newfound reality, Prince William prepares to delve deeper into the chaos, seeking the truth, whatever it may cost. Fueled by a potent mix of responsibility and personal vendetta, Witness Prince William's pursuit of truth amidst the maze of royal history, where allies can become adversaries and the past is a treacherous battleground. Bold, relentless, and driven by a fire that few could fathom, Prince William, once the unwavering image of duty, now found himself standing at a precipice, a seeker of hidden truths that laced the very foundation of his family's storied lineage. The transformation had been a gradual crescendo, born from whispers in the corridors of power and the shadow of his mother's legacy that loomed large. The crown had, for too long, evolved behind a veil, where stories morphed and facts lingered unspoken. William, his heart pounding with conviction, resolved to tear through this tapestry woven with secrets and half-truths. Surrounding him was an inner circle that bore witness to his metamorphosis, a band of confidants whose allegiance hung in a delicate balance. Some encouraged his quest, pushing him towards the flickering light of revelation with passionate whispers of support. Others, fear etched in their gazes, questioned the wisdom of prying open doors long sealed shut. Mistrust meandered like a silent predator among them, testing the strength of friendships and loyalties, revealing rifts within the closely knit fabric of trust. That same trust, stretched thin as a fine thread, lay between him and the opinions that hailed from the world beyond palace walls. Outside, the public's gaze was steely and unwavering, a crushing force that watched his every move. William's determination cloaked him with a duality of public perception and personal duty, a man caught between the crown's expectations and the clenched fist of his own axioms. He marched forward, eyes set on a history long buried and forgotten by most, guided by scholars and researchers who delved into the annals of time, unearthing allies from the past who had hidden motivations of their own. Soon, truths began to unravel like a tapestry, each revealed thread sewing a pattern he had not anticipated. His journey led him to unexpected conversations and revelations, none as potent as those shared in whispered confidences with Harry. The brothers, now divided by oceans yet united by lineage, navigated the troubled waters of their relationship under new light. Their dialogues brimmed with unvarnished honesty, shot through with pain yet tethered by an unbreakable bond. Here, William learned of truths that bore Harry's fingerprints. A brother caught in a similar web, a revelation that rippled through William, stirring old loyalties and desires for kinship. Throughout this arduous quest, a suspense lingered, teasing at the edges of his vision. The truth he so fervently pursued held the potential to either awaken the monarchy to a modern age or snare him within intricate webs woven by time's unseen hand. The specter of unforeseen consequences hovered above, a reminder that the quest for clarity sometimes demands sacrifices unseen. Yet, William remained undeterred, driven by the hope that could both liberate and ensnare him, a monarch striving to etch his place in the annals of a new history. As Prince William sets his path ablaze with purpose, the stage is set for an encounter that will test the very bonds of family and power. As the monarchy teeters on the brink of upheaval, alliances and loyalties are being tested like shadows stretching long beneath the palace's flickering torches. In the grand halls where family portraits stare down with silent judgment, a quiet storm rages, dividing the royal kin into factions, those who cling to the foundations of tradition, and those who, with a heavy heart, demand the unveiling of closely guarded truths. The once unbreakable bonds of blood and power are strained as clandestine gatherings, whisper paths of reform and restoration, while others plot to keep the veil tightly drawn. Within the ancient stone walls of the royal household, a war wages silently. Public smiles and poised appearances barely conceal the fragmentation of unity, as personal vendettas and bruised egos unravel the tightly woven fabric of regal solidarity. It echoes the historical divides of past monarchs, recalling turbulent times when the British crown staggered under the weight of its own grandeur. Murmurs of another Edward and Wallace echo through the palace corridors. The pageantry of royal life, a glamorous facade for a populace eager for fairy tales, now seems fragile, built upon fault lines that threaten to quake at any moment. Among the witnessing eyes of the palace staff, tales emerge of corridors once overflowing with laughter and camaraderie, now tensed with suspicion and dread. Servants, once loyal to a fault, now exchange hesitant glances, aware and wary of the royal storm brewing above their heads. Gavels and whispers mingle furiously with the clang of silverware at formal dinners that more resemble chess games of strategy than familial gatherings. The air is thick with secrets as potent as the scent of aged oak and polished leather that line the palace's trusting office. Beyond the palace gates, the media circles like vultures, keenly observant of the cracks that multiply each day like a spreading ink stain on parchment. With relentless intensity, they feed the public's voracious appetite for scandal, fanning the flames of intrigue with tales crafted from whispers half heard and glimpses half seen. Headlines are battle cries, challenging the monarchy's resilience, depicting the royal family as players on a stage teetering towards an unscripted finale. Behind the palace's pristine fade, fevered plans for damage control churn in secret war rooms. Voices rise and fall, raw and laden with desperation, as a conclave of advisors weaves frantic strategies to patch the expanding abyss. Public addresses are crafted, shrouded in careful ambiguity, seeking to bind the unraveling narrative. Yet each attempt grows ever more futile against the inexorable tide of revelations threatening to drown all pretenses of normalcy. As tensions reach a boiling point, only a dramatic, personal confrontation can hope to restore clarity or unleash chaos within the royal ranks. The question remains whether bonds once forged in history and power can withstand the test of modern scrutiny, or whether, torn asunder, they will extinguish the very heart of this ancient monarchy. Amidst the looming shadows of yesterday's sins, one truth will soon arise: whether the past holds answers enough for a future yet unseen, or if the echoes of division will seal the fate of this regal house. The moment of truth has arrived. A stormy confrontation looms between Prince William and Camilla that will either shatter or solidify their connection. With so much at stake, the echoes of this encounter will resound throughout the history of the monarchy. As the castle walls bear silent witness, a maelstrom of emotions brews beneath the gilded surfaces. This is no ordinary family quarrel, but a high-stakes clash between two formidable forces within the royal orbit. Preparations for the meeting thicken the air with suspense, each tick of the ornate clock echoing like a heartbeat, drawing them closer to their unavoidable clash. Unseen, the palace whispers of hushed conversations, where servants and courtiers speculate, feeling the electric charge of discord dancing in the hallways. Yet, beneath the veneer of royal composure, the emotional tempest rages on. Prince William, steadfast and resolute, stands at the precipice, old grievances simmering behind his guarded eyes, grievances born of whispered betrayals and silent sacrifices. Camilla, resilient and unwavering in her own right, has her own ledger of grievances to air. She has long stood outside the flame-guarded halls, and now she finds herself stepping into the fire's heart. Inside the chamber, the echoes of titles and lineage clash violently with raw, unvarnished human instinct. The palace's rigid protocols threaten to bind their actions, yet instinct pushes against these chains, urging them to lay bare their truths in a setting that allows so little truth to breathe. Their voices, sharp and laden with emotion, fill the room, exchanging blows that resonate with years of accumulated tension. Past grievances tumble forth, resentments clothed in ceremony now revealed in their truest form. William's voice cuts through the poised silence, tinged with the weight of a prince forced into the role of a referee in his own family drama. Camilla's retorts are swift, born of a long-born clandestine status made official with great reluctance. Fears of uncertain futures merge with undeniable truths as they circle each other, each word a weapon skillfully wielded to provoke, to defend, to decipher intentions hidden behind layers of royal decorum. Power in the room shifts like quicksand. At times it seeps towards William, buoyed by his birthright and destiny. In bursts of insight and unexpected candor, Camilla holds her ground, lodging her own truths with precision, leaving unguarded openings in royal armor. The room trembles under the weight of their intertwined fates, with neither willing to concede the moral ground they stand upon. At the fringes, family observes and reacts, their silent judgments poised like specters within the palace. Loyalties, fragile and often unsteady, sway with the tides of the confrontation. Beneath their impassive facades, doubts and allegiances shift, silently determining who might emerge from this storm with renewed strength, and who will bear its scars. Then, like a bolt from an unseen storm, an unexpected revelation shatters the heated air, twisting the fabric of their dialogue, and altering the unyielding course upon which they traveled. A secret, long hidden in the folds of royal discretion, unfurls before them, its impact undeniable. This revelation reframes their confrontation, blurring the lines between ally and adversary in an instant. The room, charged with anticipation, absorbs this truth, acknowledging its ripple as it unfurls the fates of those within its orbit. As the dust settles from their explosive meeting, the true impact of their revelations cascades outwards, prompting a reevaluation of everything once known. In the aftermath of royal reckoning, questions linger. Was it worth the risk? The pursuit of truth often demands a cost. What price will Prince William, Camilla, and the rest of the monarchy have to pay? As the dust settles on the tumultuous events that have reshaped the very foundation of the House of Windsor, the immediate air is thick with the palpability of consequences. The Queen Consort Camilla finds herself standing at a crossroads, not solely defined by her titles but by the strains on her relationship with Prince William. Their once unbreakable bond now hangs in a precarious balance, marked by a mix of veiled understanding and deep-rooted tensions. Prince William, ever the pillar of royal strength, finds himself questioning the tectonic shifts that have left their mark on the house's sacred corridors, a place where echoes of past monarchs remind them of the cost of power. Amidst these family fractures, a new understanding begins to take shape, carving out spaces for both reconciliation or further discord. Whispers in the palace halls speak of secret meetings and hushed conversations, where the past and present weave a fabric of hope tinged with unease. Perhaps these challenges could engender a deeper bond, a unity forged in the fires of adversity. Perhaps, however, they signal the final unraveling of familial ties seemingly eternal. Beyond palace walls, the kingdom stirs with a collective murmur, as the public becomes both witness and judge, their gaze unyielding. The media's relentless spotlight fans the flames of speculation, magnifying every gesture and utterance. Headlines scream of scandal and betrayal, yet beneath the noise a narrative emerges. The monarchy stands at its most vulnerable, a dynasty revered and reviled, its layers peeled back for all to see. The nation wonders aloud, debates with fervor around kitchen tables and within the hallowed halls of Parliament. What does this mean for the future of the crown, its sanctity, its survival? As the world watches with a mix of fascination and scrutiny, experts weigh in, their voices echoing the sentiments of a divided populace. Analysts dissect implications with surgical precision, pondering the saga's impact on the British monarchy's long-standing narrative. There's talk of a revolution in tradition, a necessary evolution for the times, as an institution grapples with its identity amidst modern scrutiny. Will the crown retain its allure, its duty seen as both ceremonial and crucial? Or will it transform, bending graciously, or breaking under the inexorable weight of change? Yet in this tapestry of turmoil and transformation, one element remains unwavering: the enduring resilience of the monarchy, an ancient entity navigating the churning seas of tradition and modernity. They have stood tall, reshaping, rebuilding, and wearing weariness like a regal mantle through centuries, their legacy both their anchor and their compass. The narrative of the crown is one of survival, adapting to the whisper of future winds while rooted firmly in history's embrace. As viewers ponder the intricate threads of this royal tapestry, the allure of what lies ahead beckons a future ripe with new mysteries, challenges, and possibilities. One can only watch, captivated, as the next chapter begins to unfold. Every end is a new beginning. Will the revelations prove a catalyst for renewed strength, or will the scars born from this saga linger longer than anticipated? Join us as we speculate on what a new dawn holds for the British monarchy. As the dust begins to settle, the echoes of past confrontations linger, immortalized in moments that have shattered and redefined the heart of the monarchy. The family stands not where it once did, but at a threshold, a crossroads where lessons hard-earned can become the foundation of a different future. These lessons are not just tokens of remembrance. They are paths to healing, tenuous but vital. Beneath the facade of grandeur and majesty, personal tales now call for reconciliation and a collective balm for their wounded spirits. Yet, with challenge comes the promise of opportunity. The people's gaze, at once adoring and scrutinizing, seeks a monarchy responsive to their voices. Tradition whispers the elegant notes of the past, while the future hums with the promise of evolution. This delicate dance, between holding the cherished and welcoming the new, defines their evolving connection with those they serve. Change does not promise comfort, but it beckons with the allure of progress, a chance to craft a narrative of resilience that bridges generations. Hints of future trials loom like shadows yet to be faced, whether they are whispers of scandals waiting to resurface, or the simple truth of mortality demanding eventual succession. Amidst these uncertainties, one truth remains resolute: the world's enduring fascination with royal stories, woven with intrigue and grandeur, will persist as long as there are hearts open to wonder and scandal alike. As we leave the shadows of the past, one question remains: what new legends will the royal family craft in the face of history's relentless gaze?